Welcome back to the dumbest thing we've ever done on this channel. My name is Mark Johnston, and if this is your first time here, this is a YouTube channel where we do gear demos and reviews, as well as studio tips and tricks for leveling up your writing, your playing, and your production from the perspective of a guitar player working out of a studio. If that's the kind of thing that would appeal to you, please hit that subscribe button and stick around for future videos that I promise aren't going to look like this. So you might be wondering one of two things right now. Number one, where is the intro song? And don't worry, there will be music in this video. And number two, what the hell is going on with this giant pile of gear in front of me? And I have an answer for that. We are here today taking a look at the Walrus Audio Canvas Power USB right here. The purpose of all of this, and sorry, I can't pick this up right now, it is powering everything, including the preamp this microphone is running through. For this video, I really wanted to kind of test the limitations of something like this in a kind of dumb way. We've done a handful of videos on Walrus Canvas Power over the last 2 years since the first Walrus power supplies came out, and with every new release they bring something new and noteworthy to the table. It started with just really good, high quality, quiet, isolated power. They then came around with the Canvas Power HP, which was 3 standard 9-volt 500 milliamp ports and a single 3 amp port, allowing you to power things like your Quad Cortex, your Nano Cortex, high draw valve powered things like the Victory Amps Sheriff preamp, which is hidden underneath the synthesizer. Look, I know it's a lot. And from there we saw the release of the Canvas Power HP Plus, which is currently right here, providing power to most of the pedals in front of us. And the new release is the Canvas Power USB. And the thing that is significant about this is its ability to be your kind of first in chain of your daisy chained power solutions that has a really interesting twist to it. You can use the standard 24 volt in and power it off of your standard kind of transformer wall wart kind of setup, allowing you to use very conventional Canvas power workflows where you use this in conjunction with the rest of the power on your pedal board. Where a lot of the Canvas power supplies have a USB-C port in it that is designed to do power delivery out to things like your tablet or your phone or any devices that might accept USB power. In the case of the Canvas Power USB, you instead have a USB-C port for power in, allowing you to do things like power your pedal board off of something like a kind of mobile battery pack, giving you access to wireless power for your pedal board, or in the case of the insanity that we are doing right now, something like your laptop charger. We are very literally right now using a power brick for a MacBook Pro, USB-C cabled using the kind of Mac USB-C cable to the input of the Power USB. It is taking the 24 volt out through to the Canvas HP Power Plus, and we're literally using this power brick right here to power our entire guitar rig, which is the Chase Bliss Audio Clean, the Victory Amps Sheriff V4 valve preamp pedal, my hologram microcosm, the Keeley Halo Core, the Strymon Big Sky MX, the Universal Audio Aux Stomp. We are then also running a bass rig off of the same exact single power supply in the form of the Neural DSP Nano Cortex. My voice right now is being recorded with a Warm Audio WA19 dynamic microphone through the JHS Colorbox preamp pedal. And for good measure, we also have the Von Gone replay being powered as well. And we're able to get away with all this nonsense because the Canvas Power HP Plus has 3 of those 3 amp outputs, allowing us to power the analog valve preamp pedal, the synthesizer, and the Nano Cortex. The goal here really was to try to push the absolute limits of what we could get away with in this context. And it's worth saying this is probably a bit much for somebody trying to get away with this on a standard power bank, but this is all being done with my laptop's power supply. And because the HP Plus down here has a USB-C output as well, I could be doing all this while also powering my tablet that I could be using as my recording interface. The Canvas Power USB itself offers a pretty simple workflow. You have your 24 volt in for using standard pedal board power supplies, or you have that power delivery USB-C input. You have your 24 volt through for powering the rest of your pedal board, and you have, I guess, what could be considered a courtesy output, which is just a single adjustable 9, 12, or 18 volt 500 milliamp output port. That's gonna be your kind of standard center negative style port. It is not going to be one of those 3 amp high draw ones. It's going to be kind of more of a standard pedal board option. So let's take a beat really quick and talk about some of the actual technical specifics of the Canvas Power USB, just so you know exactly what you need to power it in all the correct configurations. Obviously, this thing has the 24 volt in and through, the same kind of power delivery and daisy chaining that the entire Canvas Power line has, which means any of Walrus's wall wart things like this will be able to power this and everything downstream of it at 96 watts. But you can also use that USB-C power delivery input to deliver 48 watts of power to everything, which is how we've been powering this entire video. We have so much gear being powered over my laptop power supply, and we currently are just powering my, let's be careful not to break anything, my JHS color box with just this thing, using only the kind of smallest, lowest powered brick I have capable of delivering the minimum power. It's an iPad charger I use that isn't any specific brand. And that's because for the Canvas Power USB, if you want to use that power delivery input, you need to hit 30 watts of input power to the USB-C port. And what that means is you will not be able to power this thing over USB bus power from your iPad or your laptop unless you have, certain PCs that have a really strong out port specifically for powering peripherals. But it also does mean that you can use this kind of thing, mobile power banks, to be able to charge it. You just want to make sure that you're using the right one. I have always been buying power banks that power basically my phone, maybe a tablet, but I've never bought one rated for laptops. And that's basically what you're looking for. You need a power bank that is able to deliver a minimum of 30 watts of power, which is basically the laptop standard. So if you have something like this that is rated to be able to charge your laptop, it will power your pedal board with almost all certainty, whereas none of the ones I own are able to power anything up because they just are not rated for that kind of delivery. So if you're looking to be able to power your entire pedal board via your mobile battery pack like this, just make sure you buy the right one. But it's worth noting that if you use the correctly rated battery pack or one of those laptop power supplies, you can power your entire pedal board over the Canvas Power USB and daisy chain it to the Canvas Power 22, 15, Power HP Plus, basically any of the Walrus power that has that courtesy USB output. And that is not going to be rated strong enough to power your laptop, although it will probably extend the battery life of your laptop. But you can also use that to power and keep charged your phone, your tablet, basically anything that you could also use as a mobile recording demo interface, which is pretty rad. Anyways, let's get back to it. A thing you will notice as we get into both the music bed that we're hearing right now, as well as the song that we're going to get into, there's an incredibly low noise floor across. I was kind of skeptical, if we're being very honest, with using my laptop's power supply, because half the time that I use a USB-C MIDI interface for my pedal board to my computer, I get ground noise. So I was kind of expecting similar here, and here we are with dead quiet audio despite everything we're doing here, and the fact that all of these are running two sources at the same time. The Von Gogh replay is running to my Lauren Audio Panther preamp. The vocal mic through the JHS color box is running directly to my Apollo interface. The Neural DSP Nano Cortex for bass is running into the direct input on the Soyuz Lakeside preamp, and the guitar rig itself is going to the Canvas Stereo DI-Li and going into the mic inputs on the Warm Audio WA273. They're all wired in parallel, all at the same time, and everything is dead quiet and working perfectly. And that 48 watt supply is just off of that USB-C port. If you switch over to that 24 volt input, you have access to up to 96 watts of power downstream, which means I could take everything I'm doing here and, theoretically triple it and still be operating perfectly fine, which is it's a good thing we're not doing that because I'm out of space on this table. It's worth being very clear about the fact that the Canvas USB is not actually a kind of dedicated power supply, nor is it clearly meant to be with its single port for powering pedals. It's really meant to be a piece that you incorporate into your existing Canvas power ecosystem to create a more versatile and adaptable rig. And so I want to take a second and talk about what this thing comes with, because it's worth noting that this is not a standalone power supply, nor is it really meant to be. This is really for people who use the Canvas power supply ecosystem in general. I guess you could cross-pollinate to things like the mono or Strymon stuff because they all use 24-volt daisy chaining, but your mileage may vary in terms of noise floor issues and all that. So I would consult Walrus directly with that rather than kind of running the risk of some power issues that you might get from that. But if you have things like the HP Plus or even like the Canvas 22, this giant brick with 22 ports on it, this is something that will allow you to take this and make it USB powered. But because of that, it's not going to come with one of these, allowing you to plug directly into an IEC cable for traditional power. You can buy these separately from Walrus's website, I'm sure. But they also come with the rest of Walrus's power supplies. What it does come with is your mounting brackets for attaching it to your pedal board. Let's get rid of these. A couple of 9-volt center negative USB cables and a straight to 90-degree USB-C cable for hooking this thing up to your power banks or your MacBook power supplies or whatever nonsense you want to plug this thing into. And it's worth noting that if you put this thing at the front of your kind of power signal chain, you can use this thing with either one of those wall wart 24-volt inputs or that USB-C port. But if you have the 24-volt input plugged in, it will prioritize that over the USB-C power delivery all the time. So if you want to make that jump to a mobile power supply with one of those power banks, make sure that you unplug that 24-volt and then plug in that USB-C to kind of make that power delivery change. So I think that is all there is to say about the Canvas Power USB. It is a small, simple device designed to do some really interesting things with, as you can hear, an incredibly low noise floor. But I promise I did write some music, so let's give that a listen. We're going to be using all of the sends in parallel. I did no repatching. Everything I said about the way that all the instruments were set up in this video holds true through this song, and the acoustic guitar is also recorded with this mic through the JHS color box. So everything is patched as it was, and let's give it a listen.